The research vessel Artemis drifted through the black void, engines humming at minimal power. Commander Lin Wei stood at the viewport, her face lit by the glow of distant stars. The ship's sensors had picked up something unusual, a metal object floating where nothing should be. "Magnify Sector 4, she ordered. The screen zoomed in. A ship appeared, its hull scarred and dark. It rotated slowly, like a dead thing in space. "That's the S Horizon," said Officer Tran, his voice tight with surprise. "It disappeared 27 years ago." Lin frowned. "That's impossible." "Check again. ID signature confirms it." "This is the Horizon." Tran's fingers moved across his console. "And Commander, it's still powered. Low level, but active." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew the story. The Horizon was a research vessel that vanished during a routine mission. No distress call, no debris field. "Just gone. We're picking up a signal," said Communications Officer Patel. She adjusted her headset. "It's coming from the Horizon." Repeating on a loop. "Put it through," Lin ordered. A series of tones filled the bridge. Not random noise, but structured. Mathematical. "What is that?" Lin asked. Dr. Cato, a science officer, leaned forward. "Those aren't standard emergency codes. They're equations. Complex ones. From a ghost ship?" Officer Chun muttered. "I don't like this." Lin made her decision. "Prepare a boarding team. I want to know what happened to that ship." The shuttle bay was cold and echoed with the sounds of preparation. Ling checked her suit seals while Cato, Tron, and Security Officer Reyes did the same. "Remember," Lin said, "we go in, we find the source of the signal, we get out. No heroics." The shuttle detached from the Artemis with a metallic clunk. Through the viewport, the Horizon grew larger. Its hull was intact, but marked with strange patterns, like something had burned the metal from the inside. "Radiation levels normal," Cato reported. "Atmosphere present, but thin." They docked at an airlock near the bridge. The metal door was cold under Lin's gloved hand. It opened with surprising ease. Flashlights cut through the darkness inside. The air smelled stale. Emergency lights flickered weakly along the floor, casting long shadows. "Power systems still functioning after all this time," Tran whispered. "How?" They moved through silent corridors. Their footsteps echoed on metal floors. The ship felt wrong. Abandoned, but not dead. The bridge door was sealed. Reyes bypassed the lock, and it slid open with a hiss. Inside, screens glowed with faint blue light. Data scrolled across them, the same mathematical sequences from the signal. "Look at this," Cato said, pointing to a console. Personal logs, research data, all intact. Lin accessed the captain's final entry. Captain Rodriguez appeared on screen, his face tense with fear. "Bay 194. The anomaly is growing. We can't control it anymore. It's opening a doorway where nothing should exist. There's a force pulling at us, at the ship. We can't resist it. If anyone finds this, don't." The recording cut off. "What happened to them?" Reyes asked, looking around the empty bridge. A low vibration ran through the floor. The lights flickered. A warning alarm began to sound. "Something's powering up," Tran said, checking his scanner. "Energy spike from Deck 3. The quantum laboratory." The ship shuddered. Lin grabbed a railing to steady herself. "We need to see what's down there," she said. As they moved toward the lift, the ship lurched again, stronger this time. The deck tilted beneath their feet. "Commander," Cato said, his voice suddenly urgent. "The Artemis is reporting unusual gravitational readings. Something on this ship is creating a field. And it's getting stronger." The lights went out. Emergency systems kicked in, bathing everything in red. "We need to move," Lin ordered. Now, the lift doors opened. Inside, the walls were warped and twisted, as if something had tried to pull the metal apart. The lift dropped faster than normal. Lin braced against the wall as the metal box shuddered around them. The emergency lights flickered, casting red shadows across worried faces. Deck 3, announced the ship's automated system. The doors opened to reveal a corridor, warped like melted plastic. What could do this to reinforced hull metal? Reyes whispered, running her hand along the twisted wall. Cato checked his scanner. The energy signature is getting stronger. This way. They moved through the distorted hallway. Their boots stuck slightly to the floor with each step, as if walking through invisible mud. "Commander," Tran's voice was tight. "The Artemis reports they're experiencing a pull toward the horizon. They fired thrusters to maintain distance." Lin tapped her comb. "Captain Chun, prepare for emergency departure if needed." "Understood, but there's something else," Chun replied. "We're picking up that signal now, too. It's getting louder." A deep vibration ran through the ship. Metal groaned around them. A ceiling panel broke loose and crashed to the floor, inches from Cato's head. "Move," Lin ordered. They ran through the twisting corridor. Warning lights flashed along the walls. An automated voice repeated, "Warning, quantum containment breach. All personnel evacuate." The laboratory door stood at the end of the hall. Unlike the rest of the ship, it looked untouched. The metal surface gleamed under the emergency lights. "That's not right," Reyes said, raising her weapon. "Everything else is damaged, but this door is perfect." Lin approached cautiously. The door slid open at her touch. Inside, the lab was in chaos. Tables overturned, equipment smashed, datapads scattered across the floor. But in the center of the room, a perfect sphere of energy hung suspended in a containment field. It pulsed with blue-white light. The air around it bent and warped. "That's the anomaly," Cato said, his scanner beeping frantically. "It's some kind of portal." Lin stepped closer. The sphere pulled at her, not physically, but in a way she couldn't explain, like it wanted her to come nearer. "Stay back," she ordered, forcing herself to step away. "Cato, what are we looking at?" Cato moved to a still-functioning console. According to these logs, they were testing a new drive system. Something went wrong. They created this. "Tier in space." Tran picked up a data pad from the floor. "Listen to this. Day 190. The portal continues to grow. We can see something on the other side now. Not stars. Not empty space. Something else." The ship lurched violently. Lin stumbled, nearly falling into the sphere. Reyes grabbed her arm, pulling her back. "The containment field is failing," Cato shouted over the growing noise. "It's been running on emergency power for years." Lin's cum crackled. "Commander!" Chan's voice was filled with static. "We're being pulled in? Engines at maximum, but we can't break free." Through the lab's viewport, Lin saw the Artemis drifting closer, its thrusters firing blue flame against the blackness of space. "We need to shut this down," Lin said, moving to the console. "How do we turn it off?" Cato's fingers flew across the controls. "I don't think we can. The original team tried. Look." The screen showed footage of the lab from 27 years ago. Scientists in panic. A man being pulled toward the growing sphere, his feet sliding across the floor as he clawed at anything to hold on to. Then, suddenly, he was gone. Sucked into the light. "They didn't abandon ship," Reyes whispered. "They were taken." The sphere pulsed brighter. The containment field sparked and flickered. "It's collapsing!" Cato yelled. A portal expanded suddenly, doubling in size. A wave of energy knocked them all to the floor. The ship's metal walls groaned and bent inward toward the sphere. Lin felt it then. A pull not just on her body, but on her mind. Images flashed behind her eyes. A place that wasn't a place. Structures that couldn't exist. And somewhere in that impossible geometry, human shapes moving. "Commander," Tran gasped, his eyes wide with fear. "I think I can hear them. The crew, they're still alive." Lin grabbed Tran by the shoulder. What do you mean you can hear them? The ship rocked violently. A support beam crashed down, missing Reyes by inches. The portal pulsed, its light now filling half the lab. It's in my head. Tran pressed his palms against his temples. Numbers, coordinates, they're trying to tell us something. Kato worked frantically at the console. The containment field is at 12%. When it fails completely, that portal will consume both ships. Lin's cum crackled. Commander. Captain Chun's voice was barely audible through the static. We've lost engine control. Being pulled toward your position. Impact in 4 minutes. The floor beneath them tilted sharply. Equipment slid across the lab toward the growing portal. A metal cabinet hit the energy field and vanished instantly. We need to get back to the shuttle, Lin ordered. Now, they moved toward the door, fighting against the increasing pull. Each step required more effort than the last. Reyes stumbled, sliding backward. Lin caught her arm, muscles straining. I can't hold on much longer. Reyes shouted over the rising whine of the portal. Kato pointed to a control panel near the door. The emergency bulkheads. If we seal the lab, it might buy us time. Lin slammed her fist against the panel. Metal shields began to lower over the doorway. The pull lessened slightly. That won't hold for long, Kato warned. The portal is growing stronger. They ran through the warped corridor, the metal walls now bending inward like a throat swallowing them. Emergency lights flashed. The ship's AI repeated warnings in a calm voice that contrasted with their panic. Warning. Hull integrity compromised. Warning. Gravitational anomaly detected. They reached the lift. The doors were jammed halfway open. Tran and Reyes forced them apart, while Lin and Kato squeezed through. The lift won't work, Kato said, checking the dead control panel. We need to use the emergency ladders. A massive shudder ran through the ship. The lights went out completely. In the darkness, they heard metal tearing. The bulkhead failed, Lin said. Move. They climbed the ladder shaft in near darkness, guided only by the glow of their suit lights. Above them, the airlock to their shuttle waited. Below, a growing blue light chased them upward. The portal is expanding through the ship, Kato gasped, climbing faster. It's consuming everything in its path. Lin's cum buzzed. Commander. Shun's voice was clearer now. We've managed to stabilize our position, but we're detecting multiple energy signatures coming through that portal. Something's coming out. They reached the airlock level. The corridor to their shuttle was intact, but bathed in strange light. Through a viewport, Lin saw the Artemis hanging in space, emergency lights blinking along its hull. Almost there, she urged her team forward. Tran suddenly stopped, his body going rigid. His eyes rolled back. Tran. Reyes grabbed him as he started to fall. They're showing me, he whispered. The other side. It's not empty space. It's a place. A constructed place. And they've been trapped there for years. Who has? Lin demanded. Not just the Horizon crew. Others. Hundreds of others. Ships from all over. Taken through portals like this one. The ship lurched again. A crack appeared in the floor beneath them. Blue light seeping through. We need to go now. Kato shouted. They dragged Tran toward the shuttle. The airlock door was just ahead when the floor gave way. Lin felt herself falling, the blue light surrounding her. Reyes caught her hand, straining to hold on. Don't let go, Reyes screamed, her fingers slipping. Through the tear in the ship, Lin saw not the empty void of space, but impossible structures floating in a sea of light. And moving among them, tiny figures that looked human. I can see them, she whispered. They're alive. Reyes's grip failed. Lin fell toward the light. Kato lunged forward, catching Lin's wrist. The force nearly pulled him through the gap too. His boots scraped against the metal floor as he strained to hold on. Help me, he shouted. Reyes grabbed his belt, while Tran braced against a wall support. Together, they pulled Lin back from the edge. The blue light reached for her like fingers, reluctant to let go. "We can't stay here," Lin gasped, her face pale. "The whole ship is coming apart." They ran the final stretch to the airlock. The shuttle waited beyond, their only escape. The door slid open with a hiss of pressurized air. "Get in," Lin ordered, pushing her team ahead. Inside the shuttle, warning lights flashed across the control panels. The small craft shuddered as the horizon structure continued to fail around them. Cato jumped into the pilot's seat. His fingers flew across the controls. Engines online, preparing for emergency detach. Through the viewport, they watched as sections of the horizon peeled away like skin, revealing the growing portal beneath. The blue light had spread throughout the ship, consuming it from within. "Detach now," Lin commanded. The shuttle broke free with a metallic clang. Cato fired the thrusters at maximum power. The small craft lurched away from the dying ship. "We're clear," Reyes said, checking the rear scanners. "But the portal is still growing." Lin opened a channel to the Artemis. "Captain Chun, we're heading your way. Prepare for emergency docking." "Negative, Commander." Chun's voice was tight with stress. "We can't risk it. That portal is pulling everything in. We need to get out of range. We can't just leave," Lin argued. "There are people trapped on the other side. The original crew, maybe others." The shuttle rocked violently. A wave of energy from the portal washed over them, making the instruments flicker. "We're losing power," Cato reported. That pulse disrupted our systems. Tran sat rigid in his seat, eyes unfocused. "They're trying to communicate. The signal, the equations, it's all coordinates." "Coordinates to what?" Reyes asked. "To other portals. Across the galaxy." Tran turned to Lin, his expression haunted. "They're mapping them. Warning us." The horizon broke apart completely. The portal expanded rapidly, now a swirling vortex of blue-white energy larger than both ships. "Captain Chun," Lin called over the comm. "Launch a probe into the portal. We need data." "That's insane," Chun protested. "Do it now before we lose the chance." A small object shot from the Artemis, streaking toward the portal. It vanished into the light. "Probe deployed," Chun confirmed. "But I don't expect to get anything back." Cato fought with the shuttle controls. "Thrusters at maximum, but we're still being pulled in. We can't break free." Lin made a decision. "Captain Chun, get the Artemis out of here." "That's an order." "We're not leaving you behind," Chun argued. "You have to. Someone needs to warn command about these portals." The Artemis's engines flared bright blue as it struggled against the pull. Slowly, the larger ship began to move away. "Probe signal returning," Reyes said suddenly. "We're getting data." The shuttle's screen filled with images that shouldn't be possible. Structures that defied physics. Vast spaces that seemed both inside and outside at once. And among them, ships. Dozens of ships from different eras and origins. "Look," Cato pointed. "Those are human vessels. Some of them have been missing for centuries." A text message appeared on the screen. Simple words in standard language. "Help us return." "It's from the Horizon crew," Tran whispered. "They're alive." The shuttle's hull groaned as the portal's pull intensified. Warning alarms blared throughout the small craft. "Structural failure imminent," the computer announced. Lin looked at her team, then at the portal, growing larger in their viewport. The impossible structures beyond seemed to reach for them. "We have a choice," she said. "Fight until we're torn apart, or go in on our terms." Cato's hands hovered over the controls. "You want to go in, voluntarily?" "If we're being pulled in anyway, I'd rather do it with functioning engines and life support." The shuttle shuddered again. A crack appeared across the viewport. "We don't have much time," Lin said. "What's it going to be?" "I say we go in," Reyes said, checking her weapon. "If there are people to save, that's our job." Kato nodded, his face grim. Engines responsive. If we're doing this, we do it now. Lin opened a channel to the Artemis. Captain Shun, we're going through. Deploy the emergency beacon with all our data. Make sure Command knows what happened here. Commander, this is suicide, Shun protested. Maybe not. The probe came back. There's something on the other side. People who need help. Lin's voice was steady despite her racing heart. This is our choice. The shuttle's hull creaked under the strain. Another crack spread across the viewport. 30 seconds until structural failure. The computer warned. Lin looked at her team. Last chance to object. No one spoke. Their faces showed fear, but also determination. Kato, take us in. Full power. Kato turned the shuttle toward the portal. The engines roared as he pushed them beyond safety limits. The small craft shot forward, no longer fighting the pull, but embracing it. The blue light engulfed them. The shuttle shook violently. Warning alarms blared. For a moment, Lin thought they would break apart. Then silence. The alarm stopped. The shaking ceased. Through the cracked viewport, they saw a space that shouldn't exist. Vast structures floated in a sea of blue light. Not buildings as humans would make them, but impossible shapes that bent and curved in ways that hurt the eyes. And among them, ships. Hundreds of ships from different worlds and times, suspended like insects in amber. "My God," Reyes whispered. "They're all intact." Kato checked the instruments. Life support functioning. Gravity normal. But I can't get any readings on where we are. It's like we're everywhere and nowhere. A light flashed on their communications panel. Someone was hailing them. "This is Commander Lin Wei of the research vessel Artemis," Lin answered. "Who is this?" "Commander Wei," a woman's voice clear but strained. "This is Captain Rodriguez of the ESS Horizon. We've been waiting for someone to find us." Lin exchanged shocked glances with her team. "Captain Rodriguez? Your ship disappeared 27 years ago." 27 years? Rodriguez sounded stunned. "For us, it's been only months. Time moves differently here." "Where is here?" Lin asked. "What is this place?" "We don't know. Some kind of junction point between realities. We're not alone. There are ships here from all over, some ancient, some from places we've never heard of." Through the viewport, Lin saw movement. Small transport vessels moving between the larger ships. A network of survivors. "Can we get out?" Lin asked. "The portal closed behind us." "We've been working on that," Rodriguez replied. "The portals appear and disappear, but they follow patterns. Mathematical patterns. We've been sending the equations through, hoping someone would understand." "The signal," Tran said. "That's what it was. Yes, a map of the portals, their locations, their timing. We've been trying to find a way home for years." A massive structure shifted in the distance. Not a ship or building, but something alive, something aware. What was that? Reyes asked, raising her weapon instinctively. "The Keepers," Rodriguez said, her voice dropping. "They built this place. They collect ships, study them, study us. They're not hostile, exactly, but they don't want us to leave." Lin watched as more ships came into view. A vast fleet of the lost and taken. "Captain Rodriguez, we're coming to you. We need to talk." "Hurry, Commander. Another portal is forming soon. If we work together, we might have a chance to get home." Kaito guided the shuttle toward a cluster of human vessels. At their center floated the intact form of the ESS Horizon. Lin looked back at the space where they had entered. The portal was gone, leaving only empty blue light. Their way home had vanished. But ahead, among the impossible structures and gathered ships, she saw something else. Hope. "Let's find a way back," she said to her team. "All of us."